we're plunging into something that touches every single one of us. It's that powerful, often kind of hidden connection between money, your own mindset, and interestingly, how you can actually manifest abundance. And look, this isn't just going to be a chat about budgeting or picking stocks. Not at all. We're really going to explore this profound idea that money is actually a form of energy. We'll look at how your internal beliefs about wealth really shape your external reality, and we'll introduce you to some genuinely fascinating techniques that can help you sort of reprogram your mind for prosperity, for a life that feels rich on, well, every level. It's a real perspective shift, isn't it? Most people interact with money purely on that physical level. Earning it, spending it, saving it. Transactional, right? But when you start seeing it as energy, as something with consciousness and intention behind it, the whole game changes. How you attract it, how you use it. It's suddenly different. It's really about understanding that your inner world holds the blueprint for what shows up financially outside. So, let's really unpack this core idea then. Money isn't just the paper in your wallet or the digits on a screen. We're saying, think of it as powerful spiritual energy, just like everything else in the universe. Precisely. I mean, energy isn't static, is it? It moves, it flows, it transforms. So, when you look at money that way, as energy, you get that it has to flow. It can grow, it can shrink, it has momentum. Your whole perception shifts from thinking of it as some fixed, limited thing to something dynamic and fluid. And viewing it like that, as energy, it immediately makes its nature as a tool much clearer. It's neutral, basically, fundamentally neutral. Money can build amazing things, bring dreams to life, help people, or it can be a source of conflict, problems. The difference is all about the intention, how you direct that energy. It's not about how much you pile up, it's about how you engage with the flow itself. That's such a key point. I think people miss that. They really do. And if we take this energy idea just a step further, imagine the universe is like constantly offering this endless river of abundance, okay? And this river, it isn't just carrying cash, right? It's a flow of opportunities, love, joy, health, creativity, all kinds of prosperity. So, if this river is always flowing, what stops it? What's the dam that people put up? Well, almost always it's internal resistance, fear primarily. Fear? Yeah. Fear of not having enough, maybe fear of losing what you do have, or even fear of what having money might mean about you as a person. This fear, this whole scarcity mindset, yeah, it's like you're building a wall right in the middle of that river. It physically blocks the natural flow, right? Whereas being open, trusting the process, cultivating that sense of enoughness, even right where you are, that's what aligns you with the current. Again, that makes total sense, you know? You can't catch anything if your fists are clenched tight, right? Exactly that. So, okay, if the external flow is abundant, the block's got to be internal. Which brings us, I think, right to the heart of it, the inner game, your mindset. And this concept you mentioned, the wealth thermostat, this is really where the change starts. To attract more prosperity, the most fundamental thing you can do is change how you think and feel about money. There's this idea that you need to become rich on the inside first. Rich on the inside? Yeah, your internal state, your beliefs, your self-worth, crucially, your comfort level with abundance. That has to shift. And you see pretty stark evidence for this, don't you? The statistic that always gets me is how something like, 70% of people who get sudden windfalls, like lottery wins. Lottery winners, inheritances, they lose it all pretty quickly. They do. Because the external situation changed dramatically, right? Bang, lots of money. But their internal calibration, their wealth thermostat, didn't budge. Still set low. Exactly. It was still set for a lower level of abundance. Their unconscious programming just wasn't ready to handle or maintain that level of wealth. So, without even realizing it, they took actions that brought them right back to their default setting. That phrase, unconscious programming, is so important here. It's powerful, and its main job often seems to be just, survival or keeping things the way they are. Precisely. The unconscious mind isn't logical like our conscious mind tries to be. It runs on these deep-seated beliefs and patterns often laid down when we were kids, right? So, if your conscious goal is, I want to be wealthy, but your unconscious mind is holding on to beliefs like rich people are greedy or more money equals more problems, you've got a conflict, a fundamental conflict. Yeah, your unconscious, trying to keep you safe based on its old map of the world, will absolutely subtly sabotage your conscious efforts. It won't let you become something it thinks is dangerous or bad. Wow. It's like having one foot on the gas and the other firmly on the brake. Exactly what it feels like. Which really underlines the need to, uncover these limiting beliefs about money. We all have them, presumably? Oh, absolutely. Every single one of us. Yeah. And they're often sneaky, kind of lurking beneath the surface. Beliefs like, money is hard to earn, or I'm just not good with money, or you have to be ruthless to get rich, or even just, I don't deserve it. So, how do you even start dragging those out into the open? They sound pretty hidden. Well, one really effective way is just some honest self-inquiry, like grab a notebook, get quiet for a moment, and just jot down the very first thing that pops into your head when you complete sentences like these. Don't filter, just write. When I see people with a lot of money, I immediately think, okay, money makes people, I would have more money if, money causes, I'm afraid that if I had more money, I would, money is, in order to have more money, I would need to, I think money, if I were really rich, and a big one, my biggest fear about money is, wow, those are direct. I can see how they could bring up some uncomfortable stuff, maybe some negative stereotypes or prejudices. You definitely might find those surfacing. Really common ones are things like, rich people are selfish, or they're all crooks, or that classic misquote, money is the root of all evil. Misquote. Yeah. And just to be clear, the actual phrase is, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, which is a totally different thing, right? It's the obsessive attachment, the greed, not the money itself. That distinction is huge. Okay, but let's say doing that exercise does bring up those negative, maybe prejudicial beliefs, like genuinely thinking rich people are bad. Okay, well, then you've just uncovered a major internal roadblock, because your unconscious mind, which remember is trying to be purposeful in its own way. Right. Protect is essentially saying, okay, my person consciously wants wealth, but I'm programmed to believe wealthy people are bad, selfish, dishonest. My main job is to keep my person safe and aligned with their identity. So I absolutely must prevent them from becoming one of those people. Wow. It creates this deep internal conflict that just holds you back, often completely unconsciously. Okay? So how on earth do you start to dissolve something that deep, something your own mind is using to protect you, right? Well, this is where we can use a bit of, let's call it cognitive jiu-jitsu. Often works best with a little bit of humor. There's a technique I really like, sometimes called the shovel exercise. The shovel exercise. Okay, that sounds intriguing and random. It is. Yeah, and that's sort of the point. You take those negative belief sentences you just wrote down, the ones like, people with money are selfish, or money causes war, or my biggest fear about money is losing my current life. Okay, and in each sentence, you just swap out the word money and replace it with the word shovel. Okay, let me try that. People with shovels are selfish. Shovels cause war. My biggest fear about shovels is losing my current life. Right? Say them out loud. It doesn't just sound completely absurd. It sounds ridiculous. Hilarious, actually. Exactly. And that's the insight right there. By swapping money for something as mundane and totally neutral as a shovel, you instantly highlight how irrational it is to slap these heavy human judgments or complex negative outcomes, selfish, war, losing my life, onto what is essentially just a tool. Ah, I see. It helps your brain detangle the tool itself, money, from all the emotional baggage you've unconsciously attached to it. It breaks that automatic negative link and creates a bit of space for a new perspective. Like, oh wait, money is just a tool. How it's used is the issue. It uses absurdity to bypass the seriousness and weight of the belief. That's actually brilliant. It just reframes it instantly. Okay, so we've tackled the internal beliefs, the blockages. Now let's shift to actively creating, or manifesting. Visualization is a classic tool here, isn't it? It is. And it's incredibly potent because it taps directly into the mind's power to shape reality. See, the brain often struggles to tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Right? So, you really do often have to believe it before you see it manifest in your outer world. Visualization helps build that crucial internal belief structure. So, it's not just like passive daydreaming then. Oh, far from it. It's about setting a very clear, energetic intention. You're not just picturing vague piles of cash. You're picturing financial freedom and the life that freedom supports. Like what specifically? Like maybe a peaceful home, doing work that feels meaningful, having the resources to help others, travel, whatever truly resonates with you. Making that vision really specific and clear is key. And the real power isn't just in the mental images, is it? There's more to it. No, the absolute key, the amplifier, is the feeling. When you visualize that financial freedom, you have to engage the emotions you'd feel if you already had it. Like joy, relief. Yes, feel the relief, the security, the joy, the peace. That expansive feeling of being able to be generous. Those emotions are powerful energy signals. They amplify your intention and start attracting experiences that match that feeling. Practicing connecting with those emotions daily is vital. And to broaden the idea of richness beyond just the bank balance, exactly. There's a great exercise for this, sometimes called Imagine Living Truly Rich. It's a visualization where you don't just picture financial abundance, but being rich in all the important areas of your life, like vibrant health, strong mental clarity, deep and loving relationships, work that feels purposeful and fulfilling, a sense of spiritual connection, and just overall happiness and well-being. Okay. Doing this expands your unconscious mind's definition of what richness even means. It primes it to look for and create abundance in all these different forms, not just money. This sounds like it leads into some deeper mechanics about how our brains actually process information. This idea of neurocoding, right? So every single person has a unique way their brain represents information internally. Think of it like your brain having different file formats for different kinds of data, right? For something like money or your financial situation, your brain has a specific code. Maybe when you think about money coming in, you see a number flash up in your mind's eye. Or perhaps it's a physical sensation like a warmth in your chest. Maybe it's a color or an image of a bank statement growing. Or even something more abstract. That's your specific, unique neurocoding for money. And this ties into a technique you mentioned called power manifesting. How does that work? Exactly. Power manifesting is a bit different from just setting a goal or making a wish list. It actually leverages this internal neurocoding. Okay? The technique involves first identifying something you absolutely know is going to happen. Something with a really strong, established, comfortable internal representation in your neurocoding. Like, you know you're going to brush your teeth tonight or walk across the room soon, right? Something certain. Total certainty. You notice how your brain codes that certainty. What does it look like, feel like, sound like internally? Then you take the thing you want to happen, your desired financial outcome, let's say, and you mentally place it into that exact same internal location or file format. You give it the same coding characteristics, the same size, color, feeling, sound that your brain uses for things it considers absolutely certain to occur. Whoa! So you're basically tricking your brain into feeling the same certainty about your goal as it does about something mundane and inevitable? You could say that. You're aligning your brain's own natural mechanism for predicting and enacting certainty with your desired future. By doing this, you channel your energy, your focus, your behavior, and importantly, your unconscious mind towards making that desired outcome feel just as real and inevitable as something you know is happening later today. That sounds incredibly powerful for actually shifting that internal wealth thermostat we talked about earlier. It's the core daily practice for doing exactly that. Building on this neurocoding idea, the practice goes like this. First, you notice how you currently represent the amount of money you have, or money coming in. Is it a number you see, a feeling, an image? Okay, identify the current coding. Yes. Then, once you've got that representation clear in your mind, you deliberately mentally increase it. By how much? Do you just add a bit? You can start small if that feels more comfortable. Maybe just increase that number or feeling or image size by, say, 10%. Feel that shift. But then the really critical part is to start repeatedly increasing it by 100% increments. Double it, double it, double it. See the new amount or feel the bigger feeling. Then double that, and again. Wow. Doubling repeatedly. That could get to some huge numbers or an intense feeling really fast. That's exactly the point. It's designed to do that. The goal is to deliberately push way past your current comfort zone. Ask, what feels normal or even realistic right now? You actually want to get to a point where it feels slightly overwhelming, like, whoa, that's almost too much. Why push it that far? Because by doing that consistently, day after day, you are actively challenging and recalibrating that deep-seated wealth thermostat. You're literally showing your unconscious mind a completely new level of abundance that it needs to start getting comfortable with. You're stretching its container. And doing this daily actually retrains the unconscious mind over time. That's the idea. You're consistently sending it a new signal, instructing it to expand its capacity and its expectation for wealth. It starts to operate from the premise that there simply is more abundance, more money, more flow available, because that's now becoming its programmed reality. It creates a new internal baseline for what's possible and normal for you. Okay, beyond the beliefs in the programming, what about just raw, powerful negative emotions? Like that crippling fear of poverty, or maybe the other end, that kind of gnawing drive of greed. Those must sabotage people too. Oh, they're huge blocks. Absolutely massive. Fear completely paralyzes you, stops you from taking necessary risks or actions, and unchecked greed or avarice turns money into this addictive drug where it's never, ever enough. Right? These emotions operate at a really deep, often overwhelming, visceral level. Is it actually possible to neutralize feelings that intense? Yes, absolutely. There are specific techniques designed to interrupt and basically de-pattern that overwhelming emotional charge. One approach, which draws from methods sometimes used in energy psychology, like havening, involves engaging both your physical senses and your cognitive mind at the same time. Okay, how does that work in practice? Say I'm feeling that intense fear of losing everything, right? So first, you bring that specific feeling to mind, that intense fear. Really allow yourself to feel it for a moment and maybe rate its intensity. Say 0 to 10, where 10 is overwhelming. Okay. Now, while holding that feeling gently in your awareness, you start performing a simple bilateral physical action, like gently stroking the sides of your arms from shoulders down to elbows, back and forth, back and forth. Stroking my arms? Yeah, just lightly. And while you're doing the stroking, you engage in a simple cognitive task that requires a little focus, like counting out loud from 1 to 20, or maybe naming 20 different animals. Okay, stroking and counting. Exactly. As soon as you finish counting, you immediately pivot your attention. Deliberately recall a time when you felt completely safe, resourced, happy, content, a really positive memory, a good memory, a really good one. Dive into it vividly, see what you saw, then hear the sounds. And most importantly, feel those positive emotions fully. Find where you feel that good feeling in your body. Maybe give it a color. And then imagine that color expanding, filling you up. Take a breath. Open your eyes. So you're not just trying to push the bad feeling away, you're actively replacing it while doing something physical and distracting. Yes, precisely. The combination, the bilateral touch, the cognitive distraction of counting, and then anchoring strongly into a positive resource state, works to interrupt the established neural pathway that was firing off that overwhelming negative emotion. It helps your brain effectively refile that fear memory or response in a much less intense, less triggering way. And then what happens? Then you check back in with the original feeling, the fear. Rate its intensity again, 0 to 10. Very often you'll find it has dramatically reduced, maybe even down to a 0 or a 1. Wow, that's incredible. So it leaves you feeling numb? Not numb, neutralized, but still able to think clearly. It leaves you with a healthy perspective instead of that crippling fear that stops you dead in your tracks, or that insatiable craving that drives you relentlessly. You move into a state where you can relate to money from a place of balance and conscious choice. Okay. You're not terrified of losing it, and you're not chasing it like an addict needing a fix. You're operating from what you might call the money zone, a healthier, more balanced frequency. That balance feels absolutely key to genuine abundance. Okay, finally, let's talk about actually charting the course forward. You mentioned creating a compelling future using our internal timeline. Yes, exactly. Everyone has an internal sense of time, how your mind spatially organizes your past, your present, and your future. For some people, it's like a line stretching out in front. For others, it might be different. Maybe a path going left to right, or even behind them. The point is, creating lasting change isn't just about getting rid of the old blocks. It's about having a really powerful magnetic pull from the future you want to create. And what guides the creation of that future? Just more money? Well, money might be part of it, but a genuinely rich life, the kind we've been talking about, isn't defined just by the size of your bank account, right? It's built on living in alignment with your core values. Values like health, love, connection, freedom, creativity, contribution, learning, laughter. Whatever truly matters most to you deep down. Identifying your top 5 to 10 values is the essential foundation. Okay? So how do we use this internal timeline idea to actually build that value-driven future? It's a visualization process, but a very active one. You mentally step out onto your timeline, projecting yourself forward into the future. Let's say 1 year from today. Okay, 1 year out. And you imagine your life is exactly as you would absolutely love it to be. Not just okay, but amazing. And not just financially, but thriving in all those key areas aligned with your values. Your health is vibrant. Your relationships are deep and connected. Your career is fulfilling. Your finances support your freedom. You're growing personally. You feel happy and spiritually connected. Make it vivid, incredibly vivid. Use all your senses. See exactly what you would see around you. Hear the sounds of that life. And most importantly, feel the powerful, positive emotions of having achieved that future. Really anchor that feeling. Okay, got the future vision. Then what? Then comes the really cool part. You stay out there at the 1 year mark, feeling how good it feels. And then you mentally step back on your timeline, maybe 3 months closer to today, so 9 months from now. And you ask yourself, looking back at that amazing 1 year future, okay, what must have happened in the 3 months before this point to make that 1 year vision possible? So you work backwards. You work backwards, creating a key milestone or image for that 9-month point. See it, feel it. Then step back another 3 months to 6 months from now. Ask again, what needed to happen before this point to make the 9-month point achievable? Create that image. Keep stepping back in increments. 3 months, maybe 1 month, creating a sequence of stepping stones, a series of images or milestones leading all the way back from that compelling 1 year future right to where you are today. So, you're essentially building a bridge, a visual roadmap from the future back to the present. Exactly. You're reverse engineering the path by creating this clear sequence, and then mentally stepping into each of those future points as you visualize moving backward towards today. You're using your brain's natural spatial coding for time to make that future feel incredibly real and crucially achievable. Your unconscious mind now has a programmed destination and the perceived steps to get there. Wow. And it will then start working behind the scenes to align your energy, your focus, your intuition, and your actions towards making that sequence a reality. It has its instructions. This has been just an incredible journey through mindset, energy, belief, and some really practical, powerful techniques. So, how do we pull all this together? What does a sustainable daily practice for abundance actually look like? It's really about consistent, gentle application. It's not about forcing anything. First, regularly practice that money-increasing neuro coding exercise, the doubling one. Keep nudging that wealth thermostat upwards, making higher levels of abundance feel more normal and comfortable internally. Okay, raise the thermostat. Second, look at your compelling future timeline visualization daily. even just for a few moments. Keep your internal compass pointed firmly towards that rich, value-driven life you're creating. Keep the vision alive. Yeah. Third, stay vigilant. Notice when those old limiting beliefs about money pop up, and they will, and challenge them. Use the shovel exercise. Laugh at the absurdity. Don't let them take root again. Right? Challenge the beliefs. And the feeling part. Crucial. Keep practicing visualization, but always focus on generating the feelings of already having achieved financial freedom, already living that rich life. Feel the joy, the peace, the security now. Feel it now. And cultivate genuine gratitude every day. Notice and appreciate the abundance already present in your life. Your health, the people you love, simple pleasures, opportunities you have. Keep a journal. Maybe this shifts your energy from lack to fullness instantly. Gratitude makes sense. Make mindful financial decisions, choices guided by your intuition and your core values, not driven by fear or greed. And then importantly, take inspired action. Inspired action, not just waiting. No, action is key. Listen to those intuitive nudges and act on them, trusting they're aligned with your compelling future. Make sure your actions are consistent with your values. Use positive affirmations if they resonate with you. Things like, "My life is rich, I am abundant and free. I am so happy and grateful now that..." Repeat them with real feeling and conviction. And maybe the most fundamental piece of all, cultivate deep self-love and self-approval. Truly believe, down to your core, that you are worthy of abundance, that you are inherently good enough, and that you deserve a life that is rich in every single way. Wow. So we've really journeyed from seeing money as energy, delving deep into the power of our inner world, mindset, beliefs, the unconscious, and hopefully equipped you with some specific practical tools to dissolve those old blocks and actively create a truly compelling future. And the really beautiful, full, empowering truth here is that once you start consistently applying these practices, consciously programming your unconscious mind for the richness you desire, it genuinely goes to work for you. It starts figuring out how you get to experience more abundance, how you make more money, and maybe most importantly, how you feel truly rich right now, because you're focusing on the good things already in your life and living in alignment with what truly matters to you. It really is about building a life that feels rich from the inside out. So, considering everything we've explored, that your energy, your focus, your unconscious programming are perhaps your most potent tools for attracting wealth and living that truly rich life. Here's a final thought for you to take away. What single belief, or maybe what single habit are you ready to challenge and change, starting today, to begin building your truly rich life?